Going live in 3. All right, guys, what is going on, guys? It is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. We have a massive story for you today. Of course, we have been talking about this for a very long time. If you're new here, there is a lot going on in the world, but this is absolute proof that something massive is happening. Now, we have actually talked about some of the signs that all of these countries in the world, especially European nations, and of course the U.S., are preparing for something big, like the grabbing of Greenland, the troops on our border, the destroyers down there supporting them. Of course, in NATO, almost all of the NATO countries are actually giving out pamphlets and telling their people to prepare, to have go bags ready. Of course, Russia just had a big event over the weekend where one of the presidential motorcades ended up going boom. Still, a lot of people question that. They think, like, why hasn't Putin done a press conference or something? At least come out and, say something on video, because all we've gotten is comments. In fact, they haven't said almost anything about that explosion, or a Sinet blew up. So that was 2 days after, of course, Zelensky said that that Putin was going to perish soon. And he said that is a fact. Like he knew something was coming. 2 days later, that happens. Of course, everybody assumes that Zelensky just tried to take him out. So every mainstream media, after about, 15, 16 hours, finally covered it after all of the independent journalists like myself and my peers. And they essentially said, oh, well, no, nobody's there. There's no reported casualties. I just want to, put a key there. No reported casualties, right? If you don't report them, I guess you can say that. Well, now we have a massive sign that the corporations, the countries, are preparing for something absolutely mind-boggling. So we know that the world is in chaos right now. Of course, there is a lot happening, but gold and platinum and silver, everything is popping right now. The signs are screaming at us right now. Elites are hiding the truth, and we're not blind. We can see this stuff. Again, gold, silver, and platinum prices are surging, a blazing red flag of what's coming. On March 31st, yesterday, gold spot prices hit a new all-time high of $3,123. Now, I saw one of the comments on X was, it only went a couple $100 up. For that entire spot price to go up that much in that time, you have to understand how massive that is. There's more information here. It is absolutely insane. This was Jesse Colombo. I'll show you this. This was Jesse Colombo. Gold is now nearly vertical, hitting all-time new high of $3,123.72. Now, keep in mind, gold is one of the last ways that you can preserve your cash. Before the whole housing crisis and everything else, people, pulled their money and put it in other stuff, real estate. And that was, one of the next safest ones. The safest one after that is gold. And all of a sudden, we have tens of thousands of contracts buying gold, silver, and platinum, all in just like the same 48-hour period. When you see this kind of purchasing, you realize that this is a country, right? So again, let's go into the next piece here. Silver reached $34.27 an ounce on March 27th, and platinum hit $9.81 on the same day. Silver lease rates are spiking, signaling a potential supply crunch. On March 31st, 2025, TF Metals reported a massive amount of gold futures being purchased by April delivery. 186,000 contracts are now open, representing 18.6 million ounces of gold, or about 580 tons. That's a huge jump, with 45,000 new contracts added on March 28th alone. In one day, 45,000 contracts were open. Each contract is a promise to buy gold in April, and this surge shows big players and hedge fund managers and institutions are expecting a crisis so severe that gold will be one of the only safe assets left. Really put that in your brain right now. All of the other things that we have been talking about, this is on top. This is the cherry on top, and it is a very big one. They are preparing for a war and an economic collapse as we speak, and it's going to hit hard. I'll show you this next piece. It's real. It's happening in platinum too. This is not a drill. There are only 8,510 contracts worth of platinum registered on COMEX. Closing OI, I think that's opening interest, was 12,091. Someone bought 5,697 contracts at deadline. Something huge is happening right beneath our feet. What in the world is going on right now? And then, of course, we have this one again. This is actually a chart. So I'm actually going to bring in my co-host / internet brother, Dex James. What is going on, and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine. Look, it's April 1st, but I really wish this was an April Fool's joke. But yeah, this is pretty serious.
I wish we'd be talking about something fun right now, because right now, this is an absolute sign. A lot of you that might be scratching your head, or if this goes over your head, remember on the website, we actually have a full kind of article breakdown of this. This is an article exclusive to us. Again, it is our article, so go check it out. It will have all of these tweets and all of the X posts, so you can actually see what's going on. Let's go over this picture that TF Metals report actually put. He said, whoa, 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 this can't be right. This can't possibly be correct, could it? No way. Has to be a misprint by the CME. Has to be, right? Right? Again, TF Metals report says, I'm talking with the guy at the CME right now. We've been looking at it for the past several minutes. He's confirmed the number on the two of their internal sources, but neither of us are certain yet. So he's checking with another source. It is so big that all of the metals guys don't even know what to do with this. They're like, is this actually real? This is how big these numbers are. These are not like, oh, it broke another record. This is like something massive is happening. Dex, how big are these purchases? Are we talking people, or are we talking bigger than that?
No, this isn't like consumers all of a sudden buying gold. This is institutional investors, hedge funds, countries invest, and really it's global. It's not like, a lot of people look to Wall Street, sort of like we looked at the real estate, and we said, oh, look at Wall Street moving all the money from the stock market into real estate, which is why all the housing went up. And again, now it's okay. Well, when things get bad, where does the money shift? And you have to pay attention to the major shifts in the money, because it's always the telltale sign right before massive events go down. And this type of explosion into this market, which wasn't invisible. I mean, it's not like gold spiked to the price it did just yesterday. If you look at the chart, it's been marching there, but it's marched there so quickly this year alone. The writing is sort of now on the wall, and the future contracts, when we're talking about that, that's people buying futures, buying they're saying, I know I need to get the gold in April, so I'm putting in a contract to buy that gold in April. And that's what those contracts are. And that explosion of contracts on those options is a big deal. They're called open interest. And I'm getting very technical there, but that's the sign. That's sort of the signal of what's going on. And it's really about, in my opinion, the fact that the world is just about at war, and the economics globally are not sitting to look pretty right now. Everything is just about to be in chaos.
And again, we have talked about all of the different events over this last 3 weeks. And I mean, honestly, we've been talking about this for years. We showed you the signs that all of this was gearing towards this. This isn't planning a wedding. This is planning a world war. It takes years. And we saw all of the signs that this was happening. But all of it is coming together. You, of course, have the Diego Garcia event, right? Iran. Just yesterday, we covered this. Iran prepares to launch preemptive strikes on Diego Garcia Island to destroy 7X B-2 nuclear stealth bombers. That was at least what was put out, right? They were talking about preemptive strikes. Now, will they do that? I don't know. Are they insane? Do they want to go on a full-scale, warpath with the U.S.? I don't know. But what I will say is that can affect market stuff, but that's not even it. Like, they have a rumor that is going around right now. These guys, I'm sure that not all of them got the heads up, but I'm sure there was whole offices, and the big kahuna that does have connections all of a sudden said, oh, bought a ton of gold. Everyone underneath him said, why is he buying gold? We got to buy gold. He's buying a lot of gold. He just sold his house and he's buying gold. I'm buying gold. These are the kind of numbers where you have China, Russia, countries scooping up gold as if the US dollar is about to hit something nasty. And I mean a speed bump that takes out a car and knocks it into a pole. Okay, this is huge. Again, Zero Hedge has been talking about this all week too, and it's crazy. One of the few medias that is still mostly trusted, right? Because of why they or how they actually write their articles, they said, "Is everything going to be okay? Why are the U.S. and EU feverishly preparing for World War III?" We just covered this the other night, right? They make several examples of basically, everybody's telling us that it's peacetime, everything is going to be okay, but yet every country in the world is preparing for something. Heck, our president, all this last month, it's been Greenland, Greenland, Greenland. Greenland is going to be specific towards defending against China. We've already learned that. There's more details coming out. Pete Hegseth, again, came out with this circulated secret Pentagon memo talking about a war with China, right? This is not a surprise to me. Well, everybody was Russia, 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 or everybody else. I was saying China is the head honcho. All of these guys, everything connects back to China. And do I think that China is the head honcho of the world? No. They're all part of these groups, but I think China might be the one that they're picking to, step up on the pedestal after the U.S. falls. I don't know. Or it's very as simple as it is that the China is trying to go for that number one spot, and we're about to get in a massive war. They have now essentially partnered up with all of our adversaries. Everyone has military treaties, and right now, while everybody is saying it's peace, we've got nuclear stealth bombers, we've got destroyers out, we've got carriers out in the Middle East. Everybody, including our military Fugel fam, are all saying that there is going to be a pop-off in the Middle East, and right now you have this happening. If you go back through our shows when we were all talking calmly and everything was good, you will see that almost everything here has been predicted by this community. Again, this is big stuff. And, everybody that you tried to tell 5 years about this, they're going to be just absolutely hit by a truck. And then, Dex, China, you want to talk about that previous story about China halting the Panama port sale. Like all of these things play a part.
I mean, look, that's a military objective when you think about it from Trump's perspective, was to make sure we secured control of the Panama Canal. And when that port deal got halted, that is almost very, very close to an act of aggression from China to stop the forward momentum that Trump was putting in place to make sure he secures the Panama Canal. So what's going to happen next? Are we going to escalate to, military force down there as opposed to, having our hedge funds own it and have more control over it? It's a big deal. And look, these central banks, they've been hoarding hundreds or thousands of tons of gold since last year. And so we know, when you think about going back to the money issue and the war threat issue that's going on, they're expecting it. Something's coming. Something's coming really big and really soon, really fast.
And the tariffs that were just put out by our president, and again, a lot of people support this, believe that it is the right thing to do in the long run. But right now, just to put this in perspective, like Dex said, 1,000 tons since 2024. That's in a little over a year. The U.S. has gathered up 1,000 tons. I'm sorry, the central banks, just the central banks, privately owned, right? The tariffs, 25% on Canada, Mexico, and steel, 20% on China, and more coming on April 2nd, tomorrow. Again, cars, food, everything. So the experts say that this could actually affect us, that we will pay something like $1,000 more a year for the basic items that we get right now. So if you thought inflation was bad, hopefully there is something done to combat this. I don't know. But one thing I do know is I'm least worried about that. When you have some of the most powerful people in the world putting it in the very, very backup as gold, like just straight up going over to gold, you need to be paying attention. Wall Street always knows. Somehow they always know. They always pull out, or they always invest, or they always sell right before. And we're talking about a select few. When they do that, again, there's always something that follows. How do they do it? Again, I think it's just straight up easy as it gets. People are telling them what's coming next. Dex, go ahead.
Well, look, the tariffs as it relates to, you may have an opinion that they're good, you may have an opinion that they're bad. It doesn't matter. Trump's opinion is it's a long play. It's going to change things here in America. But he also made it very clear that we're going to have to go through a tough time. And he was thinking economically. Well, I promise you that if there's a tough time in the U.S. economically, there's an even tougher time outside the U.S. The global economy is part of the problem here. And that's why you're seeing these massive moves. And that's why you're probably going to see a lot of war breakout is around this, not just tariffs, but I mean, some people are suggesting that it's economic warfare. Okay. But even things like just the precious metals we were talking about, we get 70% of our silver from overseas, yet it's going to be tariffed back on us. So that's going to drive, a supply chain issue. And when you think about silver, we're not just talking about silver coins here. This is in all of your electronics. Everything electronic has some form of silver in it. Silver is highly conductive. It's used everywhere in manufacturing. That's why those lease numbers are up high, because the manufacturing companies need a lot of silver, so they'll do leases on it because they need short-term coverage for the amount of silver they need for upcoming production. So this is a huge deal, and it's going to affect outside of the U.S. more than probably inside the U.S. But we're going to have a massive change, I think, that we're going to have to go through. We're going to have to weather a major storm.
And I mean, we've been talking about, of course, North Korea and South Korea, all sorts of strange things. The South Korean president declared martial law because he said that China had infiltrated their ranks and was inside the government trying to essentially take out the good parts of it, and that they were sympathetic to North Koreans. I believe him. He got taken out. He got forcefully taken out, arrested. He had 120 police officers and military protecting the presidential palace or the presidential residence. And again, the other side of the party basically waited a week, went through all this process, and they finally went in and grabbed him. They literally put him through trial, everything. He is no longer president. Something massive happened there. I've been saying for a long time that North Korea and South Korea are going to be the trigger that pulls this whole thing off, because I think North Korea is puppeted. I think now South Korea is puppeted. And no talk about this. When the South Korean president got taken out, almost no one knows about this. Everyone I've talked to said, wait, why didn't I hear about that? Well, no, if that happened, why didn't I see it on the news? Because the news covered it for 20 minutes at probably 3 a.m. and you didn't see it. And then, of course, nobody covered it since. Like, I still think it's one of the weirdest stories of this year, and no one talks about it anymore. It's just like, forget about it. Well, it is a big deal, because if China did infiltrate into that country and did all of this, North Korea, South Korea is going to be incredibly important to this next war. You have Europe, every country. We've been covering this for weeks now. There's one thing after another. It has been a year of them prepping, doing ditches, doing dragon's teeth, doing barbed wired fences, doing trenches that are 600 miles long. Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, the doorstep of NATO. They are all preparing. All of these countries are doing something, from actually trying to ask for nukes, or offering nukes, or even changing their rules and their constitutions, adding drafts. All of these things are going into place, and people still think that there's not going to be a war. I'm telling you, a lot of the nothing burger people, these are going to age really, really badly, because right now it is very clear. Something like this gold, this just like hits like a rear end car crash, right? We are already stopped. We already see that there's 15 car pileup, and you're just sitting there going, whew. And then you've got a car screaming at 90 miles an hour that smacks right into the back of you. This is like the final car to this car crash. And I'm telling you, this is so obvious. And there's so many people that just want to fight this tooth and nail and say, oh, it's all good. Everything's going to be okay. We knew this was coming, and it most definitely is not a good thing. Iran and U.S., this is about to go. So all of these war things, the drums of war are beating right now, harder than ever before. And everybody in our community, a lot of people disagree. They're like, everything's a distraction, or everything's Ganda. But at one point, you have to go with your gut. What do you feel is going on? Why are we building a golden dome around the United States, an iron dome for the United States for missile defense? Why do we have to have Greenland? And from recent statements just over the last 2 days, they've essentially told Europe, hey, Pete Hegseth basically said, you guys are going to have to deal with Europe. You're going to have to deal with Russia because we're going to be dealing with China. It looks to me like they are trying to avoid a multi-front war where the U.S. is fighting Russia and China at the same time. So they're basically saying, we're going to hang you out to dry, at least right now, because we have China to deal with. Just a week ago, they said that there was a secret meeting with Elon updating him. He has SpaceX, Tesla, which battery technology for all of the robotic stuff. He has Neuralink, which who knows what they're doing on military capability. The Boring Company, which does tunnels, which again is very helpful in a lot of countries that actually have them. Their gear could be flown or used, whatever. But mainly SpaceX, satellite technology. Again, there's military stuff. There's, some of his ships could be used to get things at places. And they said, oh, he's getting an update on China. Go look this up last week. They said, they tried to make Elon look bad and say, why are you giving this billionaire buddy an update on a potential war with China? That was last week. Now you fast forward. Now there's a secret memo about China. These things are just going to keep coming, and people are going to go, oh, no, it's all fake. They keep bringing up China for no reason. And then last second, boom. Mike Minahan, so many other high-ranking officials have said and sent out memos to their people saying, we're going to go to war with China by 2027. My best guess, my best guess, watching the news and following this 7 days a week, every single week for 7 years, I think it's going to be 2026. I think it's going to be in the next 6 to 12 months. Dex, what's opinion?
Well, one other thing to remind everybody about. Tomorrow is, quote unquote, as Trump is calling it, Liberation Day. At 4 p.m. in the Rose Garden, he's going to be flanked by his staff, and he's going to be announcing all of these tariffs and everything else that goes into this Liberation Day, as he's calling it. That is a kickoff point. That is going to be one of the big litmus tests, so to speak, of to what's going to happen economically. And I think what you're seeing is a major preparation in advance of that with what happened yesterday and today. So, get prepared. 4:00 tomorrow afternoon Eastern time is when he's going to be making those announcements, and we'll see what really comes of it. But as everyone expects, it is tariffs across the board.
And by the way, before all of the metals just went absolutely nuts, like you can tell that they got a heads up. Somebody got a heads up very up high, and they all just went on a spree. They're putting it in this because something's about to happen to the other currencies. Something is about to collapse. That is just my feeling on this. Again, let me know yours down below. But before all of this last weekend, you had this event, right? I was just talking to Ilea. That event gave me the creeps more than anything else. You had this super obvious, over-the-top statement by Zelensky, basically saying he was thinking that Putin was going to perish. And then you have a presidential motorcade go boom. Just say hypothetically he was taken out. They're saying no reported casualties. Oh, it wasn't. It was this car and that car. It was, according to everything I've seen, a part of that presidential motorcade. It could have been a finance minister. It could have been a defense minister. It could have been anybody. They have a lot of these in it. But say if it was, say one of these high-ranking officials was at the nightclub partying. They do that, especially Russia. And they went boom. Is that done so it makes it look like Zelensky was trying to take him out? Every article for an entire day said fears of an assassination attempt. Blah, blah, blah. Everything said this. Is that market manipulation? Is that for something like this? This goes up and then something else happens. But that's the thing. This is up at its high. It doesn't make sense to me. But again, with that event, they still have said very little about it. If they did have Putin taken out, what would that actually look like? Right away, say they did find that out, they would cover it. There would be chaos in Russia if Putin was taken out. Some estimates say that 80% approve of him. I've talked to people that were actually from there, that still have family there, Ukrainian, Russian couples that have tons of friends, at least 4 friends that were at the same barbecue, all Russian. They said that about 60% of their friends, it's like 6 out of 10 approve of him. So that was like firsthand, like, yeah, a lot of people actually like Putin in Russia. So if he got taken out, if you told the public, if they just said on Russian, RT says, hey, he's gone, what would happen then? I bet it would be havoc. It would be havoc for what's left of their economy. It would be bad. So what would they do? Again, they've made some comments. They've said there's no reported casualties, but they have not said anything else. They haven't explained what happened, how it happened, anything. So I hope, and they could even end up telling us, but we have not seen Putin on a televised presence. And I bet they are getting calls for them to do that. So we'll either see it or we don't. But if we don't, that would kind of explain what's going on here. Did these people get a heads up like, hey, they're not going to tell you for a week, but Putin's not there anymore. And somebody else, Mikhail Mihustov is going to take over, or whatever his name is, and they're going to war. We don't know. But we do know that Russia is making portable nuclear bunkers. They have their country set up to be a manufacturing depot. They're working and fighting with North Korea right now. They've signed no limits treaties with at least 6 countries, and all of these countries are on our bad list. So get yourself food, medicine, and water. Speaking of which, by the way, make sure, only for our Foogle fam, we have worked with about 6 companies for years. Our affiliates aren't rotated or decided by a multi-channel network that, just gives us some sort of random diet, or here's a golden flashlight that has 50,000 things on it. Again, our affiliates are things that we believe will save your life. So go check this out, because we have asked them to do a giveaway. They have done it. The EMP Shield is a device that will protect your cars, trucks, motorcycles, and boats. This is the device that's going to save your life, get you home to your family to bug in, or get out to bug out. It takes 10 minutes to put in your car, and it will save your butt. They are giving away 5 of them for whatever device, from the home, generator, or whatever. And the lucky first prize winner will actually get $1,000 at the Grid Down store. So you could put that towards some of their solar systems, or you could do solar panels or accessories, whatever you want. So some of the best solar generators on the market, and they are all EMP Shield protected. So they're not only going to be protecting you against EMP, but also a CME or a Carrington level event from the sun. Again, big sale down there. Go while you can. We know that everybody is struggling right now. We're all just trying to get to that next rent day, which it's the 1st right now. So again, it's not a fun time for a lot of people, but if you do want to get it, best sale that they have had beyond what they've done at any Black Friday. So go check it out, marfooglenews.com/giveaway. If you want to go get one, marfooglenews.com/EMP. But I would at least go and try to get one for free. All right, Dex, as far as everything that's going on, it's only going to get crazier. Any final thoughts on it?
I mean, look, this is the money has always foreshadowed these major events, whether it's Wall Street, the bankers, and in this case, I think it's really clear as we see the continued shift of moving funds into the most protected place you can go, which would be precious metals. That's a clear sign that something big is about to happen, and I think we need to be prepared for it. We need to be thinking about it. I'm not saying run out and buy gold and silver. It's not what this is about.
Nope.
This is about getting your own self prepared for self-sustaining and dealing with what is eventually coming, and it's coming a lot sooner than we think.
Yeah, we have no gold or silver affiliate here. So again, this is purely to warn you about something we believe is massive right now. This is a real warning, and we hope you heed it. It is not sell your house and dig a hole. It is go get food, water, medicine, and protection. And that could be an EMP shield, or it could be, Beretta sale. Okay, so make sure to go check it out. Check out the article that we did about this. It breaks that down. If you are a physical kind of learner by seeing, go over and check that out. It is at the link. All you have to do is match it up with this thumbnail on the website. So again, thank you guys for joining us today. Thank you, Dex, for your service. Appreciate you.
Much love. Great job, brother.
We will see you later on Marfoogle News. Again, this is not the official show for today. This is an urgent broadcast, so I hope that you guys share this out with friends and family. Missouri Boat Ride, thank you for subscribing. Trina Rook, says, thanks for all you are doing. Mitchell Wintro, thank you. Tamari, thank you. And everyone else that made it to the chat. Make sure to thank your mods. Have a great night. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.